Happy post-Merry Christmas.
You had a good one?
Yeah, it's good. It's good. I prepared for the Chargers all day. It was great. Yeah. Short week. So, girlfriend wasn't happy about it, but that's okay.
Were you here, or were you able to prepare remotely?
No, here. I can't do remote work. I gotta do it here at the office so I can concentrate. Too many distractions at home. So, yeah.
A quick question for the Onside's kid.
Yeah.
With the new rule, and you have to declare your intentions.
Yeah.
It seems very limiting. In reality, I'm sure it is. What are your options in that case? I mean, years ago, maybe with Bill, a team lined up with the Bills, where you might decide, hey, kick it over everybody. And indeed, that's that dude. So what do
You got to prepare the best kick that you have with the kicker that you have. I mean, what are his best options to give us an opportunity to get the ball? And I thought the last two times we've onside kick, we've had a chance to get the ball. We just haven't. We've come up short. But you're looking at the way you can kind of adjust the formation a little bit. Who on their hands team that you can attack that week of, and maybe get away from a couple of tendencies that you're doing as well. But the chances of you getting one are very low. The kick's got to be right. Their guys got to maybe make a poor decision or have poor technique on what they're doing, and then one of our guys got to come free and make a play on the ball. But it's tough. It's not easy, especially with the rules nowadays.
I'll let you follow.
No, I didn't you have more on the onside. Let's stay with it. All right.
Yeah. In the case of Joey to get the bounce that he did too, but in terms of before, you could have your guys with the running start. Now you can start taking out some of those guys for them and give you a better opportunity to do that. So when you're going from a standstill, is there anything that you can incorporate into your strategy to try to give you a better opportunity to be in position?
It's all about positioning guys in different places.
So you're gonna move around.
You can move guys around if you want to, but there's no running start. You can't go into the ball's kicked.
Yeah.
So there's really not much you can do. It used to be when I was in college forever, right? And it was the same NFL rules where you could snake guys in, you could twist guys, have almost 7 guys on one side, get into a 6-man side. I mean, there's so much you can do in the previous old rules like that, but now it's very limited. So it's really the kick and a little bit of luck and hoping that one of you guys are in position to get that ball. Because, I mean, I think it's, a 5% chance, 7% chance you get the ball back. So, yeah, I think even lower than that maybe.
Yeah. How often do you get to practice it?
You practice it every week.
Okay.
Yeah, you work it every week because our games are so close that if you're in a lot of close games, at some point you're going to have to use it, so you want to be prepared.
You've gotten a full contingent of weather, I guess, since you've been here this year. I mean, it's snowing out there. How much harder is it for a special teams coach of a team that plays outside in the Northeast than, say, maybe one who's coaching in the Southwest indoors? How much more is on your plate just because of the weather every week?
So much more. I mean, you have to adjust your game plan based on the weather, and you can't do as much as you would want to do because of the weather and the way you have to kick the ball, how you have to punt the ball, what you can do fake-wise. I mean, there's just a lot of different if it's cold outside, if you're trying to do a fake, can that guy throw the ball? If you're trying to throw the ball. I mean, there's so many different things that I'm still learning as we go through it. And the good thing is I got veterans like, Bryce is a veteran. He's lived in the North so long in his life, so he understands. And then Joe Cardona has been through a lot of football, so he'll have pointers, and Coach Quinn has a lot of pointers too. So learning every day, man. It's been fun, though.
Yeah, the fake punt that was successful must have just been exhilarating for someone in your position to see that work when it did for the layman. I mean, what did you guess that actually made that work?
I think just our guys executing. I mean, it's a fake it's a simple fake that most teams have up majority of the time, I would think. And it's just we had our opportunity, felt that our opportunity was right, and we wanted to steal a possession in that game against a very good Bills team. And we did, and we executed. And I was happy for Dell to actually hold on to the ball. That's another thing, right? It was really cold in that game, so I was nervous about him just holding on to the ball before fumbling, because you've seen a lot of those cases where those PPs aren't used to catching footballs and hits off their chest, and it's an unsuccessful one. And if you're unsuccessful there on whatever yard line we're on, that's devastating right there for us as an underdog team in that game. But happy to see it. It helps us out as we move forward, and we're always looking to steal possessions if we can. And I think every team does the same thing. We're not doing anything miraculous or by any means different. But if we're preparing that way, if we can, then we see an opportunity, we're going to take it.
Speaking of fakes, it's kind of out of left field. We're watching guys throw the ball a little bit. And going back to one of the prior punters was around Johnny Hector.
Yeah.
He's a great passer, but he's a very good quarterback coming out of high school, playing collegiately.
Yeah.
When you have somebody who can do different things like that, how much does that increase your options when it comes to fakes? And if you don't have a punter who can...
Oh, yeah, it changes the game. I mean, I love a punter that can throw the ball. I've always been that way. We had Riley Dixon in LA for a year or two who can throw the ball. Very good. Was a former, athlete out there in high school and stuff. So, and even in college, he had a bunch of fakes. But you have a guy like that, it opens up the playbook. And you always want to have fakes up, and hopefully that guy can throw the ball because it helps you out, expand it a little bit.
Does it ever enter in your evaluation?
Yeah, it is.
Possible?
Oh, it's definitely my evaluations. And during the offseason, the draft process, can he throw the ball? A lot of times when he can throw the ball, he's probably a pretty good holder too. Really good hands. That always helps out.
How would you describe the culture here in New England? With the team?
Oh, the team? Great. Yeah, I think it's great. It's always, when you're having a losing season, it's tough. It's not easy to be consistent because, you want to win games, and winning makes everything better. It always does. But I think Mayo's done a great job being consistent with his messaging. I think our players have done a great job being resilient. When a lot of guys could just say, you know what, I'm going to save myself and wait for the next season or wait for the off season. I don't think a lot of guys have done that. They've shown up, they've worked their butts off, and at some points in the season give us chances to win games. And even our coaching staff have done a great job of just staying consistent, put our nose down and working. And that's all you can do. It's never easy. We know how high stakes this job is. It's important. People want to win football games, and the fans spend a lot of money to come to these games. And I know how important it is. It's my job. I'm trying to win games to provide for myself and my family. So it's always frustrating when you're going through this stuff. But the culture in sense of that, I think everyone's kind of say, hey, especially after the middle of the season, hey, things aren't going our way. How can we do our job better? And just stay together through it all. And know that we can make little improvements here and there. It's going to be beneficial for the future, whatever the future holds.
Jim, along those lines, as you've worked with guys who may have been almost exclusively in special teams roles, thinking of Gal Dell, maybe even Christian Ellis, beginning of the season, and now as their snaps rise on defense, increase in other areas of getting the offense defense.
Yeah.
Do you still see the same level of effort, concentration in meeting rooms, practice reps and special teams athletes?
Yeah, and I'm always, I've said this before in these meetings, that if a guy graduates from special teams to playing full time on defense, I love it. I mean, that's what my job is, to develop these guys, and for coaches to see them on film, hey, that guy moves really well in space, and he can tackle, he can do this and that, and now it gives them more time or more trust on the offensive defensive side of the ball to get more snaps. So yeah, the concentration doesn't slimmer in that sense. It always just says, hey, you're off 2 more roles on special teams. Just make sure you're locked in for these ones. And I think we got a pretty good group, and guys like Christian Ellis, Dell, Jaheim Bell, and those guys that truly understand their role and are going to give me everything they got as they move forward.
One last regarding, go back to the outside kids and you go for personnel. A lot of times guys go down in the game. Maybe it's the guy with the R4.
Yeah.
And now you've got somebody who's inserted in that role. Do you have to take your guys aside in certain situations and say, hey, look, just a reminder. And on the flip side of that, I imagine you're cognizant of another team needs to replace a guy if you want in a situation where you want to now exploit.
Yeah, it's 48-man roster. So when one guy goes down on Sunday, man, you're having to switch all kinds of different guys around and things like that, and very constant of that. That's the difference between me coaching college football for so long and coming to the NFL is you lose one guy on game day. It's on special teams. It's a mad kind of rush, but you have to prepare that way with your depth charts so that you have an idea. Hey, if so and so goes down, this is what I'm going to do at these positions. That happens all the time. It's happened all throughout this year. It happens to every special teams coach. We just got to be ready to rock and roll and adjust.
Last one, Erickson.
Oh, yeah.
He said steady last week.
Yeah.
We asked him, Buffalo, those weren't easy conditions.
Hell no.
What are your thoughts?
I love the kid, man. Love Erickson. He's come in. He's the reason why he's played for so long. True pro, handles his business, is out there catching, fielding. In constant dialogue about, what the plan is, what the game plan is. He's watching his own film. I'm glad we got that guy, signed that guy, because he's helping us right now. And unfortunate that we have a guy like 25, was hurt last week, and hurts us in the punt return game because he's so dynamic and such a good player, top 3 guy in the NFL in my opinion. But Erickson's done a phenomenal job coming in and working and earning the trust of myself and the head coach as well. All right, guys, have a good one.